Imagine your shop or office runs on one electricity supplier. It's cheap, it works, and you don't think about it much. Then, one day, because of a fight between companies you've never heard of, they flip a switch and cut power to just your street. Your stock, your bookings, your staff schedule, all stuck, and you had zero say in it. That's the kind of risk I see with WordPress right now. On the surface, it looks free and safe, but for a serious business, it's more like a time bomb. Because one group controls the main switch for updates and plugins, and if your website is important for leads, bookings, or sales, that should worry you. Recently, there has been a fight inside the WordPress world. The people who control WordPress clashed with one of the biggest hosting companies. The result? Updates blocked, plugins taken over, legal battles, staff leaving, and normal business owners were the ones who felt the pain first. Let me break down what actually happened in simple terms. On one side, you have the person who started WordPress and the company around him. On the other side, you have WP Engine, a very large hosting company where many professional WordPress sites live. They've worked together for years, and then the relationship completely broke. Publicly, there were harsh words. Things like "cancer to WordPress" were said. There were also stories about money demands, like a fee on revenue. But under all that drama, the real problem was this: who controls the main pipe that sends updates and plugins to WordPress sites? That main pipe is WordPress.org. Most WordPress sites are connected to it. When your site shows a little "update available" message for a plugin or for WordPress itself, that usually comes from this central place. It's like the App Store for your website. And during the conflict, people started reporting something serious. Website hosted on WP Engine suddenly couldn't get updates from WordPress.org. No new versions, no plugin updates, no theme updates. That means no quick security fixes, no fast bug fixes. If your store, booking system, or lead funnel runs on that site, you're stuck waiting. At the same time, an important plugin used in many bigger sites was taken over and moved fully under WordPress.org control. To get it, people had to agree to some extra legal tax. So the store that gives you the tools for your website started to change rules during a legal fight. A court then stepped in and told them to turn the tap back on for now. But the full court case may take years. Until that's finished, everyone is living in a gray area. Business owners can be sure that updates will always be there when they need them. Here's why this matters to you. This whole mess showed that one central gate can be opened or closed for whole groups of sites at once, not because of a bug, not because of a hacker, but because of a business and legal fight. So what does all of this mean if you're a business owner and not a tech person? First, it affects sales. Agencies and freelancers who sell WordPress websites are starting to lose deals. Larger clients read about the drama, the legal fights, and the leadership issues. Then they ask a simple question: why should we commit our next 5 years to a system where one person or company can block updates? I've seen projects where tens of thousands of dollars paused or cancelled because the buyer's legal team said, "This feels risky." That slows everything down. Instead of a simple yes or no, you get "we need to think about it," or "can you also quote this in another system?" That means more meetings, more discounts, and more doubt. Second, it hits smaller organizations the hardest. Many charities, non-profits, and small local businesses use WordPress on big hosts because they want something safe and standard. When updates were blocked for sites on that host, these groups had 3 bad options: stay on an unsafe version, pay someone to complicated manual updates, or pay to move to another host in a hurry. None of those were in the budget. Money that was meant for the real work those organizations do suddenly had to go into emergency website work. And if their website got hacked during that time, they had to explain to their board that the problem wasn't even their fault. It came from a power struggle above their heads. And third, there is the day-to-day risk. That central update system doesn't just send new features, It also sends security fixes when there's a new vulnerability. The fastest and safest way to close it is usually through that central pipeline. If that pipe can't be turned off for a whole hosting company, even for a short time, your website stays open to attacks longer. Your team has to scramble, check every plugin by hand, and hope they didn't miss anything. Fourth, people are leaving. A lot of staff inside the main WordPress company took severance and walked away, unhappy with how this was handled. When experienced people leave and any software project, development slows down, bugs last longer, support gets thinner. That doesn't show up on a splash page, but you feel it months later when routine updates break things more often. Finally, the money is moving from building to fighting. The main company behind WordPress has already said they'll spend less on paying people to work on the software and more on lawyers. For you, that means more slowdowns, more surprise changes, and more time your developer has to spend testing and fixing instead of improving your site. Put simply, even if your own website never gets blocked, this kind of central control and conflict makes the whole WordPress world less stable. And when the ground under your website shakes, it shakes your leads, your sales, and your reputation with it. The real issue: WordPress isn't neutral infrastructure. Now, here's the real problem. Underneath all of this, most people think WordPress is open source, so it must be safe and neutral. In other words, nobody owns it, so nobody can really abuse it. That sounds nice, but it's not how it actually works in practice. Yes, the code is open, anyone can download it, anyone can, in theory, copy it and run their own version, but almost every serious WordPress site in the real world depends on one central place, WordPress.org. That site is like the App Store and update server for the whole ecosystem. And that central place is not run like a neutral foundation with many companies at the table. It's mainly led by one founder and one company. They use a lot of community language, but at the end of the day, a very small group decides the rule for the main plugin directory, the themes, and the update system. Why does that matter to you as a business owner? Because your trust doesn't sit in the code, it sits in the system around the code. You don't have time to check every line of software on your site. You trust that the update your site gets is safe, tested, and will keep coming. You trust that if there's a security problem, the fix will move fast. When one group controls the main door for those updates, your website is tied to their choices, their mood, and their legal fights. Even if you're not involved, your site can still be part of the fallout. If you're already on WordPress, I'm not saying panic and rebuild tomorrow, but you do need a clear plan instead of just hoping the drama goes away. Short term, focus on basic safety and control. Keep your sites backed up on a separate service your host doesn't control. Ask whoever manages your site to reduce the number of plugins to only what you really need. Fewer moving parts means less can break. Talk to your developer or agency about a what-if plan. For example, what if updates stop working for your host for a while? What if a key plugin disappears? How would they keep your site running safely for 3 to 6 months? Medium term, start thinking of WordPress as one part of your system, not your whole digital future. And that means your content should be easy to export. Your forms, email list, and customer data should live in tools you can connect to another website later. Your shop or booking system should not be locked to one special plugin that only works in one place. You want to be in a position where if something big changes, you have options. Not zero work, but clear, realistic options. And then agree on your personal exit triggers. For example, if updates slow down for too long or if rules change so that you must use certain extra products that you're signed to start a rebuild on another platform. Decide that now while you're calm, not in the middle of a crisis. If you ever decide to move away, there are good options. Hosted tools like Shopify or Squarespace give more stability and simple pricing. Other paid content systems like Craft or Statamatic or Payload CMS give you more control with clear owners and clearer rules. Here's my bottom line. WordPress isn't a bad tool, but the way it's controlled makes it too risky to be the long-term foundation for a serious business website. If your website brings in leads, bookings, or sales, treat it like real infrastructure and not a side project. Ask your agency or developer the hard questions. Who controls the updates? What's the plan if something breaks higher up in the chain? What are our exit triggers? Drop a comment with what you're using right now and with what scares you most about changing platforms. I'll reply with a practical next step so you can take this month. And if you want more straight, non-hype talk about web strategy for real businesses, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.